Hello, everyone. Yamina from Dr. GPCR here. I hope you're all doing well. Today, I want to walk you through some of the slides that I presented last week at the 21st Great Lakes GPCR retreat at Niagara-on-the-Lake. The title of my presentation is Dr. GPCR Ecosystem 2.0, Collaborating Better. So I want to talk to you about why Dr. GPCR was born in the first place. I will also run you through some of our milestones that we've achieved in the past 2.5 years, and I will spend most of my presentation on the Dr. GPCR ecosystem itself. So why was Dr. GPCR born? I chose the representation of an iceberg with some of its parts outside of the water and most of its part under the water. And I want you to focus on the part that's under the water. And that represents everything that still needs to be done to better understand structure-function relationships of GPCRs. And that's also essential to drugging and targeting GPCRs in drug discovery better. And that's why Dr. GPCR was born. We want to accelerate the understanding of GPCR biology to improve human health. And we're doing that by providing opportunities to scientists from academia and the private sector to meet, connect, and potentially collaborate in various settings. And we've also been serving as the premier source for GPCR news. In the past 2.5 years, we had recorded over 75 podcast episodes. That is equivalent to 4,200 hours of interview time. We've had guests from 5 continents and over 20,000 plays on all platforms combined. The Dr. GPCR podcast was born with the intention of interviewing everyone who works in the field, independently of their level. We want to capture the behind-the-scenes stories that are at the source of the discoveries and at the source of the work and the publications that are available today. So if you're listening to this video, know that you're invited to become a guest on the Dr. GPCR podcast. All you have to do is reach out to us at hello@drgbcr.com and let us know why you think you should be interviewed. We've also launched the Dr. GPCR Newsletter 2 years ago. We so far reached over 1,000 subscribers from all over the world. Each month, we collect and categorize scientific papers and also collect industry news related to GPCRs. So far, we've collected and categorized over 2,000 scientific publications. We've organized so far the Dr. GPCR Summit twice, once in 2020 in September, and the second one in September 2021. Overall, in two events, we were able to host 67 talks combined, had 540 registrations from 5 continents, and have been able to secure 6 industry sponsors. The Summit's program has been put together organically. We've sent out emails to everyone who subscribed to our newsletter, for example, and told them we're going to do the summit. You're all invited independently of your level. If you have a great story about your research, you're welcome to do so. And we've been quite successful at it. Last year in March, we launched the Dr. GPCR Virtual Cafe. The Virtual Cafe is a once-a-month webinar that hosts a scientist, again, independently of their level, who comes to talk to us about their research. The Virtual Cafe is all about data and research. So far, we've hosted many speakers. Our next speaker in episode 14 is going to be Dr. Joanne Trejo from UC San Diego. We've also been present in the media at conferences. We were excited that for the first time since Dr. GPCR was born in March, we were able to sponsor the 6th Earnest meeting. This was held in March. We're also excited to be able to join the 2nd Transatlantic ECR GPCR meeting as a speaker, as we will be presenting a poster, and as a sponsor as well. This meeting will be held in July 2022. Now let's dive into the ecosystem. But before we do that, I would like to define what an ecosystem is in this context. So an ecosystem is a community of interacting members and in their environment. Before COVID and before Dr. GPCR, the community members, the interacting community members could be categorized as being members from academia or the private sector. And I overlaid those circles to some extent to show that there is collaboration between academia and the private sector. So these community members were interacting in environments such as scientific conferences, in the context of working groups, as collaborations, or on social media such as LinkedIn and Twitter. That being said, outside of these environments, collaborating and interacting on a regular basis in the community was a difficult thing to achieve. The answer to that is the Dr. GPCR ecosystem. But before I talk to you about the environment that we're planning or we've created for the ecosystem to interact, I want to run you through and go into detail as to who can and should be member of the Dr. GPCR ecosystem. These include master trainees, early career scientists, GPCR contract research organizations, early career investigators, pharma companies, bench scientists, venture capital firms, staff scientists, principal investigators, startups, PhD trainees, biotech companies, directors, GPCR providers, principal investigators, directors, CEOs, CSOs, and new companies. And I made this figure with the idea that I wanted to include individuals, but also companies, because we believe that the Dr. GPCR ecosystem can encompass not only academics and people from the private sector, but also individuals who have roles in both of these contexts at various levels. Now, in the past 2.5 years, we've used a community participation model, which we call convey consume. And all it means is that we've been collecting information and we've been telling you, here is something interesting. In the past 2.5 years, we've also moved on to the next type of community participation model, which is the contribute model, where we talk to you and we ask you for feedback. We're also always welcoming feedback. We think feedback is important for the ecosystem and for us as well. So I'd like to thank those who have given us feedback and invite everybody to contact us and tell us what you think. Because the next model we want to move to is the collaboration model, where we can answer the question, how can we work together? Ultimately, we'd like to reach the co-creation model, where we can together decide on what shall we do next. Now, I've talked to you about who should be part of the Dr. GPCR ecosystem, what we'd like to do, how we'd like to interact in the ecosystem. Now, let me walk you through the Dr. GPCR Ecosystem 2.0. It's an online platform. Think of Amazon meets LinkedIn meets ResearchGate. And on this platform, it is membership-based. It is exclusive to the GPCR system, GPCR field. It is inclusive at the same time. It is safe and private. You can create your own profile. You can take or create a course. Let's say you've developed a new methodology, or you're really good at writing grants and you've been successfully getting those grants and you want to create a course or teach others on how to do that. This will be the place to do so. You can find members and colleagues. You can create a private group with your colleagues. You can join existing groups and have discussions on specific topics that you might be interested in. You can find collaborators. You can ask and answer GPCR questions. You have any lab question, any technique question, you name it, as long as it's GPCR related or around that realm, you can ask that question. You can find and post jobs. You can consume all things Dr. GPCR, all our previous programs, and we're going to be thinking about new programs to add. You can network in a safe place. You can find contract research organization partners. You can become an ambassador. And you can discover GPCR companies. And with this, I'd like to thank you for your attention. I would also like to thank all the guests of the ecosystem who have been participating in our activities, podcast, newsletter, summit, and virtual cafe. And I would also like to take a moment to thank our team, past and current, namely Shivani Sajdev, Jin Tong, Attila Forrest, Ines Pinero, and Alexa Duran. And with this, I want to leave you with this quote, and thank you for your attention. If you want to go fast, go alone. And if you want to go far, go together. Thank you.